Two Bowls in a China Shop is brought to you by these great companies that are giving us money to let you listen to their stuff.
Bullshit, Kyle. We make this show. You and me. Two Bulls in a China Shop is brought to you by us.
Someone's got to pay the bills, Dan, because it's not our trading.
All right, roll them.
This episode is brought to you by Zelle. Whenever you're sending money through an app or online, it's important to do it safely. Here are a few helpful tips. First, always make sure you know and trust the person you are sending money to. Second, confirm you have entered their contact details correctly. And finally, if you don't trust the person or your recipient is rushing you to send money right away, think twice before sending money through an app or online.
By giving, people will be helping Nationwide Children's Hospital find cures, brighten patients' holidays, and people will be able to support their neighbors when they need it most. When they donate, they will activate in real time a butterfly-inspired light show for patients this holiday season. They will add holiday cheer to the lives of kids who really need a reason to smile. No one wants to think about their child being sick, but should that day come, the donation they make this year could help the care their child could need in the future. Please give now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
You are listening to an entertainment program put together by a company called Financial Ineptitude. Anything said on this show is not an endorsement or professional advice. Would you really want to tell a court of law you were suing us because you thought taking financial advice from two idiots on a podcast put out by Financial Ineptitude was a good idea? Really? Clown hat smiley face.
Get in, pussy. We're going to the moon.
Oh my God. Be careful. Be careful. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the China Shop. It is a shop, not a moon rocket, but I don't know. Can you blast a room to space?
Well, it seems like my boy laid back from that Discord. That is a direct quote from him. So I don't know who they are, but they're now my hero.
Oh my God. They're going to be in jail soon. Yes, we are opening the shop. We're kicking the doors open. We're smashing them. We're tearing them off by the hinges for another exciting news update. We've got a ton of good stories today. So without really further ado, let's just jump in. Well, before we dive into today's news, I'd like to just take a quick minute to say thank you to our sponsors and friends at Manscaped, Trade Pro Academy, and Orderflow Labs. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming with precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. And with those holidays coming up, now's the perfect time to take advantage of our exclusive offer of 20% off and free worldwide shipping using promo code 2bulls at manscaped.com. As always, that is the number 2. And if you happen to see a 20% off discount that's going on their website to everybody, just ignore that and still use our code, because our code will be around after the holidays. And when it comes to institutional quality trading education, be sure to check out tradeproacademy.com and our free Discord server. You'll find instructions to take advantage of our discount with them as well. And for those degenerates who enjoy trading futures, definitely want to check out those custom tools and studies at orderflowlabs.com. And also, definitely check out Eric over at esinvest.com. And he's also got his own Discord that you can jump into, and he's got amazing content on YouTube. Okay. I think that's all of it. Eric, how are you doing today?
I think for the Manscaped pitch, you probably should change your name to Two Balls in a China Shop.
Yes. I think that's been discussed a few times.
Okay, good.
I do want to do a test of the trimmer with everybody. I want to get some people on a voice channel and just have them shout out different body parts to test.
Voice. Well, it's going to have to be a video channel in order for that to be fun.
Also, I have to figure out how to blur stuff too, because I'm sure there's going to be some some suggestions that I don't want to do.
Well, I'm excited for the butthole.
I know Joel is going to be shouting that one out.
Because the tricky part with that is you got to imagine, like, anytime I've shaved my nuts, after like 3 or 4 days, it's like a pine cone is in between my leg as the hair starts to grow back. And it's like just the butthole for that has got to be pretty awful.
Oh, prickly pear on your... Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Talk about some news. How about...
Okay, fine. I guess that's better conversation. I don't know who wouldn't want to hear about buttholes, but we could talk about this interesting case you've sent, which is the U.S. District Court of Southern District of Texas, the SEC versus a handful of people, Mr. Zach Morris, Perry Matlock, Tommy Coops, Mystic Mac, Hugh Henn, Laid Back, that's such a fun name. Diety of Dips, which is Ultra Calls, and the Stock Sniper. I love these fucking names, man. I don't know how people could trust the commentary of people who are literally using Xbox gamer tags as their Twitter handles.
And it's always penny stocks too, isn't it?
It's I was actually reading a fascinating study about this, and it boils down to we force ourselves to believe things we want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what this stuff is, man. It's like the antithesis of what I'm about. And it's one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel, man, is because this stuff drives me fucking wild. These people prey on just other people who are trying to change their life circumstance, but they literally prey on them.
I'm trying to remember who the guest was we talked to. I think it was Rich Friesen in one of the first episodes we had. And then I don't know if it made the cut or if it was something we talked to him after the fact, but he had said that if he wanted to be like a shyster or a salesman, he could. And it all boils down to selling somebody like their wildest dreams and fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really hard thing to compete with when you're trying to come with truth and honesty and like, hey, this is what it takes to be successful.
It's one of the biggest things people ask me, like, I can't believe, that my YouTube channel is not bigger. The information's great. And I always appreciate that feedback. And I know exactly what I would need to do different if I wanted to just blow the channel up. Not to be like cocky if I knew it could be like a gajillion subscribers, not that, but I know I could do better than I am. Right now, the channel's like 9,000 subscribers.
Right.
And I refuse to play the games that you see. Like, people post 22,000% return. Meanwhile, it was a fucking 3-cent call that they bought. It's like,
right.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, nope. Like, I get it. People sales is important. I get all that stuff. But to me, I really do feel like there's a broader responsibility that we have to this fucking community. And I look at the only way I've been able to navigate it myself. And it's because I had mentors, specifically one that shot it to me straight, man. Like, he didn't play any games. He didn't make me say, oh, you could, become a millionaire in 15 minutes just by doing these one easy trick and this one alert that always works. Like, none of that, man. He's like, I've been doing this for 35 years and I still don't know what the fuck's going on. It's like, those are the people you need though to figure it out in this long term. So it just, man, I guess I'm on my soapbox, but it really fucking breaks my heart, because I know just about all of us start trading from the same standpoint. Most of us don't have money, but there's a group of people who just prey on other people's ignorance, which is such a fucking bummer.
And this is preying on people. I mean, if you've read through the court filing, which we'll have linked in the episode description here, I mean, this was the definition of pump and dump. I mean, when they would purchase their shares of whatever the stock ticker was that they're planning on pumping beforehand, then they'd send it out to everybody to tell them to buy it. And then as everybody else is buying it, then they're unloading their positions. That is the definition of it.
Frustrating.
I know. It's sad. And I guess the good news is all these people are going to lose all those ill-gotten gains, assuming they get found guilty.
Well, you also have to imagine there's going to be a cascading effect of this. Like we were talking right before, it has really interested me what kind of line the financial community online has been able to dance between sharing information, but not being a financial advisor, right? That's always big risk, big risk. But services like this are very specific, where they're like, no shit, giving prospective investments.
Yeah, they are telling you to buy this stock. That is, yeah, that is not like, it's not the same thing as someone saying like, hey, I've learned about this new strategy. This is pretty interesting. Check it out.
Dude, reading through this has been, I mean, there's nothing shocking in here, but it is a bummer to see it going on because we haven't seen this kind of thing in a minute.
Well, this has been going on for a couple of years. I mean, like a lot of the conversations that were recorded in here came at the beginning of 21.
Right.
So yeah, they've probably made quite a bit of money off of their followers, and that, God, yeah, like you said, that's just sickening.
What kills me, I don't know, not to like diverge too far, but it does remind me of a tangential topic that I've been following, which is the whole Liver King thing.
Liver King. Is that like
Yeah,
the Tiger King, but for the chicken livers or something?
Exactly. It's like this dude that blew up on social media. He's more in the fitness space, but he was really big on like the ancestral tenets. And I never really thought much of him. I always thought he was a fucking lying piece of shit, essentially because he always said that he's, completely natural, that he doesn't take steroids. Well, long story short, it just came out that the motherfucker's on steroids. And he's been on like multiple podcasts, multiple shows, spewing this bullshit about what he thinks people should be doing, like straight up lying about being on steroids. And then he's on steroids. And, in his apology video, he was saying, oh, well, I did it because of the young men that are committing suicide because of self-confidence issues.
Oh
And it's like,
God, yeah,
so you're setting unrealistic expectations to somehow help them. It just, it
right,
reminds me
yeah,
of this, what we're seeing right here. Like I saw one of the posts, one of these dudes was saying, I don't want to make one of my followers a millionaire. I want to make them all millionaire. You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah.
complete nonsense like that. But these people buy into it because they want to believe it.
Hmm.
And sure as shit, man, they're fucking just gobbling them up.
The sad thing is, there's still people defending them on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Read through this filing, and then come back to it and see if you still feel the same way.
Yeah, exactly. You have to imagine the people that might defend them are coming at it from a very selfish perspective. They might have said, "Oh, well, I followed some of their calls and I made money," right?
Hmm.
So some people don't see the forest through the trees. They just see their perspective, completely missing the fucking, exactly like you're saying, right? The harm and the manipulation that's happening on the back end.
Well, or it could just be that they're just so invested into it that they don't want it to be true.
Which is also, that's such a good point, because a lot of these places, they create kind of like a cult following.
Hmm.
And to your point, yeah, I think that could be true. But I really think like the main punchline here is like, no shit. We all know this stuff already, but you don't follow people blindly that you see their shit online. Like you just don't fucking
Yeah.
do it. And I would even argue people you don't see online. Like we should approach conversations and information open-minded but skeptical until you can find some sort of proof of concept. And you know, part of me, I think the victims have partial responsibility in this kind of scenario, because why the fuck would they even do that? But you have people like that are misleading people, so obviously those are the real people I think should be held accountable.
Well, the financial world is so it's so tough to know where to find good information. Where like it's easy to get led astray into something like this. So I don't know. It's tough. I think that the people that end up wanting, like, I think some people are going to learn some really valuable lessons out of this, and hopefully it makes them stronger and better traders in the long run.
Yeah. And I think that, it goes back to why people should remain skeptical of penny
Hmm.
stocks, because that is absolutely like what they're doing with penny. Like these guys had money, obviously, but none of them have a bunch of money. But you can very easily control penny stocks. So, right out of the gate, you got to be very thoughtful. If it's under $5, it's easy, it's just easy to manipulate the price of a product. So
Yeah.
right out of the gate, you got to be really thoughtful about stuff like that.
Yep. There's somebody else that we're talking about that looks like he got his comeuppance too.
No, our favorite boy, SPF.
Yeah, SPF got indicted on 8 criminal charges, including fraud and conspiracy.
What a bummer. Let me tell you, because in my opinion, I think he should have finished his media tour. He was on the New York Times. There must have been a couple more things coming up that we should have had him at, because obviously he provides such a wealth of information on how to know nothing about how your business is ran, but still somehow make billions of dollars. That's kind of a sick move.
It's been fascinating following how poorly that company was run. And then hearing the stories about him like showing up to pitch meetings, like trying to get investors and having like shitty Excel sheets that are like riddled with errors, and playing video games while like he's supposed to be like, trying to woo investors. 2-3 years ago, these people were like eating out of a spoon, like lapping it up, loving it. And he's still trying to do the same shtick, or was, and it's just not working the same anymore now.
Hilarious.
But it looks like he could face up to 115 years of prison if he's convicted on all 8 of these counts.
It is kind of funny to me, like how serious we treat this kind of stuff, and how lenient other things are, not to go into the justice system, but 115 years, I get it. I actually wouldn't care if you spend every minute of it in there, but I'd still just have a hard time seeing how that's worth that. But then some of these other things we see, people get out on bail, it's like fucking wild.
Well, I mean, that's the max, right? We'll see how good of a lawyer he can still afford to hire.
That, and you have to imagine my boy is going to try to plea. I cannot imagine SBF rolling deep in prison, worried about trying to get his vegan meal. I just can't imagine that that's going to boil over well.
What's the over under on how many years he actually serves?
Well, it depends on how who's guarding his cell. Well, I don't know. I was about to go down the Epstein path with him, but
let's say he serves out his full term. How long do you think it'll be?
I'm gonna guess. Oh fuck, this is a tough one.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, so this is actually a good guess because I have zero precedent on this, like off the top of my head for this kind of instance. So from a completely ignorant standpoint, I'm gonna guess 26 years.
I'm gonna guess less than 5. And I'm going to base that off of Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. I'm pretty sure he only did 2 years for all the shit he did.
That's a really good benchmark. So I will revise my completely ignorant, misled judgment. And so you said 5 Price is Right rules. I'm going 6.
Okay, you're going over? Taking the over?
Yeah, I'm going to try to use your guess against you.
Let's see. In 1999, Belford pled guilty to fraud and related crimes in connection with stock market manipulation, running a boiler room as part of a penny stock scam. Spent 22 months in prison.
Wait a minute. Penny stock scam, you don't say.
I know, right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, this is probably a better benchmark for all the Zach Morrises and these other guys. Hopefully they don't get movie deals after the fact.
Dude, that's it. That's what fucking bothers me, man. Is I don't hate them. Like,
yeah, you're not supposed to make money off of your crimes. I thought that was a rule.
Right. But I mean, you see all that shit now. There's like these fucking mobsters doing podcasts and like motivational speaking deals, and you got like Jordan Belfort doing the same fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that stuff's wild to me. But somehow we give these people platforms after they dick people over, but that's because people are very malleable.
It just depends on how charismatic somebody is, right?
Bingo.
Support for Two Bowls in a China Shop is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code 2BOWLS at manscaped.com. That's the number 2. And if my math is correct, that's about 14 million balls, and that's a lot of balls. I've tried beard trimmers in the past, but the electric pain of a trimmer catching the sensitive skin of my beanbag had turned me off grooming below the waist in the past. But after receiving the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped, my attitude towards below-the-waist grooming quickly changed. The Lawnmower 4.0's advanced skin-safe technology is a game-changer and quickly put all those old fears to rest. The cutting-edge ceramic blade really shined here, and I didn't experience any discomfort while mowing down a severely neglected and overgrown landscape. And trust me when I say this, but I gave this thing a workout. The 4000K LED spotlight is a great touch as well, especially when taking advantage of the fact that Lawnmower is waterproof. That's right, no more mess on the floor when you just use it in the shower. The Lawnmower really is the best ball trimmer I've ever come across. But the Performance Package 4.0 doesn't just come with the trimmer. It's jam-packed with goodies including Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Toner, a surprisingly high-quality pair of free boxer briefs, and my personal favorite, the Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer. No longer do I have to resort to ripping out overgrown nose hairs with tweezers, and because the waterproof Weed Whacker also provides proprietary skin-safe technology that helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in my delicate nose holes, it's a much more pleasant experience than the old methods. And not only do you get that free pair of boxers, they also throw in a free travel bag to hold all that swag. It's time to take care of yourself, so go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code 2BOWLS. Trust me when I say this, fellas, your balls will thank you. I know mine did. So get 20% off and free shipping with code 2BOWLS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code 2BOWLS, and that's the number 2. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, should we talk about CPI and FOMC? I mean, they did happen this week. It's kind of a double whammy week.
Yeah, I think there's some pretty good outputs from those. I wonder...
Well, what happened with CPI? CPI looked like it kind of came in maybe a little bit lighter than expected.
Yeah, definitely. It beat expectations to the good side. I say good side just because depending on the economic metric that we're tracking,
Mhm.
even if it comes in lower or higher, it could be a bad thing. So that's why I phrase it as the good side. But CPI, I think when I was looking at the volatility, just volatility chains for this coming week in like the S&P 500 of the major indices, CPI was definitely the heavier weighted figure,
Mhm.
which is also very interesting to me. Clearly, people were more concerned about that than the rate decision, which I could see the argument there, mostly just because
Kind of felt like the rate decision was a foregone conclusion.
exactly. And that's honestly to the credit of Big Daddy J Powell,
Yeah, yeah.
because he's been rock steady. Although when he first made the rate statement earlier today, the market was throwing a fucking fit.
I know. I was like, he hasn't said anything different yet. It's all the same shit.
I literally but he's done that. It's a tradable event at this point. I made like pretty good money today. I think I walked out like $5,200 profit
Nice.
just trading one product around this move, because this is the same thing that's happened literally the past 3 times. Where like no matter what the fuck the guy says, everybody loses their shit at first. Volatility goes all over the map.
And then he starts talking.
Yeah, dude. But I feel like at some point, Big Daddy J Powell's just got to be like, guys, I'm telling you the same shit I'm doing, and I've done it all year. What are you freaking out about?
Everybody needs to sell. That's what he wants, I think. I think he wants the markets to fall.
I think people maybe, but I actually don't think he wants the markets to go one way or the other, to be honest.
No, you don't think?
When it comes to the Fed's perception of the market, I don't think they care that much. I
Okay.
think that they just don't want it to be too strong, which I don't think we're anywhere near that right now.
No,
I
no.
don't think it's like super weak, but I don't think it's too strong. I do think if the market was just skylining higher, that could be a problem just because the flow of money,
Mhm.
like broad picture money. But other than that, I really don't think they're super concerned with it. It almost seems like, they're going to do what they need to do and the market's going to react how it reacts.
Why are they still trading, or they finally stopped doing that?
What do you mean still trading?
I mean, are they still trading their own accounts, or did they finally stop
Well, of
doing
course. How else
that?
are they going to fucking listen?
Okay. Then I think they do care a little bit.
How is Pelosi going to have a 200 million plus net worth on a $200,000 salary?
Right.
Either she's from the Paleolithic era and has been saving for a long time, or they've made a couple really effective bets.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of CPI, what was the deal with? Because it started moving before the report came out. Did something leak?
I think it's just jitters, man. I don't too hard for me to tell like if anything emerged first. Definitely earlier today, it was actually pretty mellow.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is just jitters. We've been working around a very, very emotional market. So
Because I mean, yesterday when CPI happened, or should I say, was that Tuesday morning? Like it started ripping like a good 5 to 10 seconds before the actual report was supposed to drop, and you don't normally see that. At least I hadn't on futures.
let me look actually. I wasn't watching that closely, but I'm gonna take a look at a intraday chart right now just to see that movement that you're talking about because I'm curious. Yeah, so I'll just do like a 3-day 5 minute. And okay, so Tuesday. All right, so I see the first big candle at 0525 Pacific time.
Yep. And then a minute before it dropped, you can see the rip, that big candle at 8:29 Central.
Yeah, so I mean that might just be trying to play the initial release. To me, that doesn't mean that we knew where anything was going.
It's just weird. I hadn't seen that before. That was just kind of odd.
Yeah, because the other thing is, since the market just opens, then if you look at the volume on I'm just looking at a 5 minute candle from 8:25 Eastern time. It's 5:25 Pacific time AM. The stuff I'm looking at, but if you look at the volume on that 5:25 to 5:29 candle, it's actually very light. It wasn't moved by much. The big move came out literally right at 0530. So that's where all the volume flood in.
Oh, that was a pretty good spike right before.
I mean, yeah, there could be a chance. Yeah, no, there definitely was a spike in price, but my assumption was just that that actually it wasn't a big trade that did it, because again, I'm just looking at the volume of movement.
Mm-hmm.
The big volume came at 0530, but who knows? Maybe our boys from Twitter. They were pumping and dumping off of the CPI number. So who the fuck knows? Back over to CPI, overall, it looked like across the board, it came in slightly lighter than expected, which is good. And the month over month also came in slightly lighter than expected. So the argument could be made, that inflation is starting to level out / decline. It's still a little bit early, I think, to make that call, but at least we have enough data points over the past 2 months now to have a general idea that seems to be the case, as compared to before, it was still very, very open ended, I think. But
I just pulled up, just checking to see if CPI data did get leaked. President Biden was his secretary, Karen Jean Pierre, told reporters, "I can tell you this: there are no leaks from here." So it looks like they're downplaying the idea. There's theories that there was a fake report that was doing the rounds, but that looks like it's full of shit.
yeah, I mean, that sounds par for the course.
I mean, there could have been a fake report that people bought into, but there's definitely a surge in treasury buying seconds before the report was released.
Treasury buying?
Yeah. Surge in treasury buying that took place seconds before the report was released. It's a video. I don't feel like watching it. But yeah, something weird happened.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Anyway, so what else we got for FOMC? Was there any good tidbits in the Q&A session?
Not that I gathered. Again, I have to give Powell credit, man. He really has been very transparent. The market being so jittery each round of this kind of surprises me a bit, simply because, again, like, the dude has been very consistent. So
Yep.
it seems like what he was saying is this literally the same thing he was saying, is that they're going to continue raising rates, which, again, I think is the right answer here. He's obviously slowing the pace of increases, which he said he was going to try to do, with a higher overall target rate. So to me, it seems like we're cruising down that path. I think the next big threshold is, as long as he stays on that. If he starts to go back to 3/4 of a point or something like that, that's when we're going to have a fucking problem.
Oh yeah, no kidding. No, I think I don't know. They've raised rates so much, and inflation has done so little to actually change. I think just taking a minute, like we talked about before, just to pause and see how things are going. Like give
Yeah.
the changes that you put a lot of shock into the system. Give it a little bit and see what you've done. Like get some data coming in.
I've made that argument actually a couple times to a couple different economists, because I'm just personally curious.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten a good answer from any of them
really?
on why we don't do that, because they all seem to go directly to, oh, well, it'll hurt his like plausibility. And I have a hard time believing that that's the reason why we're doing this.
I don't doubt it.
I think it could be part of it.
I think
Yeah,
I think it's more perception than anything else. It just needs to look like he's doing something.
Yeah, I don't know. If that's the case, it would be upsetting. It would be
Right.
not outside the realm of possibility, but to me, they have to be thinking about how the unwind of this looks like. They have to be thinking about it. I know we like to shit on, the government and external parties and whatnot, but I really do not think that they're stupid people. I think sometimes they make mistakes, obviously, but I don't think they're dumb. So
No, I think in this case, it's just a scenario that the Fed only has so many tools at their disposal, one or two, and they're just trying to make use of what they have, they can control, and look like they're, working on the problem.
which I think to argue the point, I feel like they've done that.
Yeah.
So to me, if they said that, instead of just marching down this path, we're going to return to like a data receptive stance, see what the next data points look like. Now, to me, the way I've perceived this so far is setting expectations, because I think the market in general has been messaging around a pivot. They started messaging around a pivot 4 fucking months ago.
I know.
You know what I mean? And it's like, we're nowhere near that.
No.
So part of me thinks it's managing broad expectations, because I do think we probably need to raise rates a little bit more. One of the worst possible things we could do is under control inflation and then it resume, even though we've raised thus far.
Yeah.
That's still, I think, a risk. But yeah, to me, it would be interesting to see if they would entertain like a buy hike, just to give it a little time to flush through the system and see what things look like.
All right. Anything else catch your eye this week, or should we wrap it up?
Nah, man, we're coming up on the end of the year. So I always like to tell people be super careful, especially the last 2 weeks. This is where a lot of people justify selling losing trades by tax harvesting, but sometimes that can have a pretty outsized impact on individual tickers based on the size of what you're trading. So yeah, I think just be thoughtful the rest of the year.
Also, remember the wash rules. You can't just sell it and buy it back in less than 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And also, that's not advice.
No, not advice. We don't do that.
No. There'll be several disclaimers throughout this episode, as there are in all of them. Eric, thanks for stopping by again. People want to check out more from Eric. We'll have links to the YouTube channel and his website. I highly encourage you guys check him out. Follow him on Twitter. Let's show some love to the people who are actually out there trying to educate rather than just using people to dump their shitty shares on. You know what I mean?
I don't know, dog. That guy, it looked like in one of those pictures he had like a Ferrari F50. So I might be turning into a pump and dumper any second now. And just
don't do that. Don't do that. I'll lose faith in everything. Yeah, time to close up shop. Let's I don't know. I never know how to end these things. How do you want to end it? Should we just say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. We'll talk soon.
By giving, people will be helping Nationwide Children's Hospital find cures, brighten patients' holidays, and people will be able to support their neighbors when they need it most. When they donate, they will activate in real time a butterfly-inspired light show for patients this holiday season. They will add holiday cheer to the lives of kids who really need a reason to smile. No one wants to think about their child being sick, but should that day come, the donation they make this year could help the care their child could need in the future. Please give now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
This episode is brought to you by Zelle. Whenever you're sending money through an app or online, it's important to do it safely. Here are a few helpful tips. First, always make sure you know and trust the person you are sending money to. Second, confirm you have entered their contact details correctly. And finally, if you don't trust the person or your recipient is rushing you to send money right away, think twice before sending money through an app or online.
Two Bulls in a China Shop is an entertainment program, and all thoughts and opinions expressed in the show belong to the hosts and not of any company. They are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide entertainment about stocks and the financial industry of trading. If you make trades based on what you hear in this show, you assume all risks for those trades.